After nearly half a century of roaming around the Peak District, I've seen what must be hundreds of abandoned millstones lying on the windswept moors or in shady woodlands, half buried in moss, bracken and brambles. And I've always wondered what this was about, and the reasons why they're just laying around. With an average of 5 foot in diameter and a weight up to 2.5 tonne, so not easily moved, and the largest I've know of is over 7 foot in diameter, 3.5 tonne in weight. There are more than 1,500 just abandoned in the Peak District, weather worn and covered with lichen, many hidden to all that pass by. Millstones are synonymous with the Peak District, so much so that ornamental millstones are used as signs on key routes into the national park, and are also part of the logo for the Peak District National Park. They are the remains of our Victorian industrial age, when the peaks were full of mills and mines, hundreds of them strewed all over. And these flat, round, flintstone-like wheels are typical of the Peak District, and they date from the 18th, 19th century, when they were used for grinding grains into flour and used in the water, wind and steam mills of Derbyshire. Now, millstones have been used to grind grain for thousands of years. They used to be known as quernstones way back then. They were worked by hand and were used in pairs, with the base stone being set while the runner stone turned to provide the grinding action needed, with one stone often slightly domed and the other stone would be concave, sometimes with the addition of grooves carved into the stone which forced the now ground flour to flow out over the edge. And what is called the eye in the middle of stone was how the miller got the grain between the millstones to grind it. While other stones found in the Peak District were used as grindstones for sharpening steel and would have been of a finer stone. And the third type of stone often used in the Peak District were called edge runners, and these were mounted on an axle and used to crush materials like lead or paint, pigment, glass and even cider apples. The Peak District millstones were exported worldwide by the 19th century, as the local gritstone was perfect for this, and it's an integral part of the geology of the Peak District. And gritstone is a variety of coarse sandstone which was deposited when the land was under the sea about 3 million years ago. And it's thought that quarrying of the stones would have been a small scale basis, possibly by farmers who were stonemasons as well. Now, the transportation of finished millstones weighing well over 2 tonnes each is a mystery. The whole community must have gathered together to help. Or they could have been wheeled down the hill after shaping to be loaded into the wagons. Now, one possible reason why there's so many abandoned millstones in the Peak District could be white bread. It could be partly to blame because it's a finer flour and a fine quartz was used instead of gritstone. Also, the development of a more advanced machinery and higher speed of grinding was developed, which did not suit gritstone, and the industry died out very quickly in places. So much so that the half-finished stones were simply left in their incomplete state on the moors. And I think in the future, when I'm in the Peak District, I'll take more notice of where they are and why they are there, and try and spot the remains of the mills, especially in villages like Hathersage, Kerber and Baslow, and even Padley Gorge. Now, Hathersage had 5 mills in the 18th century, producing pins for textiles, so they should be easy to find.